Syria is not just another part of the world of Islam. From an Islamic eschatological perspective, Syria is at the heart, the very heart of the end of history. There are three main actors at the end of history in Islamic eschatology. The most important of them all is the return of Jesus, the Son of Mary, the true Messiah. And then there is another figure in the end of history who seeks to impersonate the true Messiah, and he is the false Messiah. The Christians call him the Antichrist, and Nabi Muhammad, Allah's blessing be upon him, called him Al-Masih al-Dajjal, or Dajjal, the false Messiah. And the third important figure in Islamic eschatology at the end of history is the Imam, or the Prince. In Christian theology is known as the Prince, or Imam al-Mahdi. And these three main actors of the end of history are all going to be simultaneously present in Damascus. Imam al-Mahdi will already be there. Dajjal will come to attack him. And at that time, when Dajjal is ready for the confrontation with the Imam, the Son of Mary returns. And they all will be in Damascus. And so Syria is located at the very heart of the end of history, or eschatology. It is a country of far more than just passing importance. What happens in Syria is of paramount importance to the Christian world and to the Muslim world, because these are the two worlds that believe in the true Messiah. These are the two worlds which await the return of the true Messiah. These are the two worlds who believe in the Antichrist, the Christian and the Muslim. They who lust to rule the world, to stamp their bloody feet on the stage of the world, and to establish their political and economic and monetary dominion over mankind on behalf of the State of Israel, came up with a devilish plan to take control of the entire territory around Israel. And they called it, they usually coin these nice and lovely terms, they call it the Arab Spring. But it was a cover for them to take control of Libya. They needed control over Libya, not only because Gaddafi was offering a challenge to their monetary dominion with his views on gold, but because Israel needs to expand her territory in order to fulfill the biblical frontiers of the Holy Land, to encompass the biblical frontiers of the Holy Land, which is from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. If Israel is to take the eastern delta of Egypt, it cannot be simply with aerial bombardment. You need a land war. And Egypt has about 80 million people. It's going to be a messy affair. In order for them to be able to grab that part of Egypt, which is the eastern delta, they need to invade Egypt from the east and from the west. That's why they needed Libya. And these fools with a capital F with their bogus jihad, who take weapons from the CIA and take money from the CIA to launch what they call a jihad or holy war, are fools with a capital F. Yes. They're rubbish. And that's what they did. They fought Israel's war for Israel. And now today NATO is in control of Libya. They wanted not only Libya, they wanted Syria. Syria more than Libya. They got Libya, so now Egypt's goose is cooked. Whenever they're ready, they'll be able to attack Egypt from east and from west and bombard Egypt from the Mediterranean Sea. And then you have the southern Sudan out there and Ethiopia to help you along from the south. So Egypt is surrounded, and Egypt's goose is cooked now, thanks to this bogus jihad. But how to get Syria? They were able to get Libya because, for reasons far more mysterious that I can achieve in my innocent ken, Russia decided to abandon Libya. Russia chose to throw Libya to the dogs. Why did Russia do that? You got to ask Russia. I don't know. The Security Council of the United Nations, and you are there, and you are a permanent member. You have responsibility. You'll have to answer on Judgment Day. You know that if you do not give your veto, you know what's going to happen. You can't hide behind abstaining from the vote. Your abstention from the vote meant that Libya was gone. So you will have to answer on Judgment Day. And that's what Russia did. I don't know why Russia acted in this way, but now Libya is gone. If Russia had vetoed the resolution, then the Libyan armed forces would still have been there today, struggling against this bogus jihad. It was when NATO was able to bomb the daylights out of Libya, as they bombed the daylights out of Belgrade once upon a time. I hope the Soviet people never forget that. That was when they were able to get Libya. But the big prize was Syria. And the same thing that they did with Libya, they did with Syria. An armed insurrection, not a spontaneous uprising. No. This was a planned, armed insurrection, funded and armed by them to take over a country. They call it color revolutions. No, you're taking over a country and you're doing it the dirty way, unworthy of a people who say you are Christians. Yes, they say they're Christians. I say no, they're not Christian, they're barbarians. When I want to find a Christian, I'll come to Orthodox Christianity. You're barbarians, because this is how you take over a country? By paying people, armed mercenaries to come and fight, providing the weapons and denying that you are part of it. This is what they did in Syria. This is what they're still doing in Syria. They did it with al-Nusra, they did it with the Free Syrian Army, and now their last baby is ISIS, or the Islamic State. The CIA. It's a CIA jihad in Syria. And because Russia has threatened to veto any resolution for a no-fly zone, that's why Assad has survived so far. If they had brought forward a resolution to the Security Council for a no-fly zone, and if Russia had abstained, as Russia did on Libya, Assad would be gone. Finish. I am not a supporter of any government in the world of Islam. No. But I admire those who stand up against the oppressor. And in this case, the biggest oppressor of all is Israel. I hope and I pray that I'll continue to have the freedom to speak these words that I've just spoken. That the biggest oppressor of all is Israel. And the Syrian government has been standing up to the oppressor. The Libyan government was standing up to the oppressor. And in religion has zero tolerance for oppression. If you are following the religious way of life, you have to be standing with the oppressed and not with the oppressor. The Ottoman Empire was an oppressor. Those who fought against the Ottoman Empire at Kosovo were the oppressed. If you join the religion of Islam and you become a Muslim, whose side will you be on? The oppressor or the oppressed? You see? So in Syria, you have a government which was standing up to the oppressor. And now you launch a jihad in Syria, and you say that this is an authentic jihad against a government standing up against the oppressor. Why didn't you launch the jihad in Saudi Arabia, where you have a government which is in the hand and in the glove of the oppressor, supporting the oppressor? Why didn't you do it there? Why didn't you do it in Jordan, where you have a government that's a client state of the oppressor? Why do you do it in Syria? Why do it in Libya? I'm not a fool. You have done it in Syria and you've done it in Libya because you're acting on behalf of the oppressor, to get rid of governments which are standing up to the oppressor. And now we have reached that moment in history where a Christian people have stood up to support the government of Syria and to save Syria from becoming another Libya. And we are proud, very proud of Christian Russia. Christian Russia has now entered into Syria militarily, and I don't think it is possible for Christian Russia to back out of Syria. No. And so the world is going to witness now a confrontation between the oppressor and the champions of the oppressed. It's going to be nuclear war. And we are not afraid to die. And that's all I have to say. We are not afraid to die. Perspective again is that of Islamic eschatology.